Hey everybody, coming to you from Bangkok, Thailand, and I'm just waiting for sometimes the timer resets and the stream starts at like, I don't know, 10, 20 seconds later than I thought it would. But yeah, open forum tonight, just enjoying my week. There we go. Enjoying my weekend here in Bangkok. And it's been kind of a slow weekend. I've been pretty tired. Been doing a lot of just running around the city this week, trying to get some different errands done. Well, trying to make some videos, in different parts of the cities to get some background footage in case I want to do a voiceover style video where I show you some of the areas that I'm seeing, but then discussing the topic because I think the topics are helpful to illustrate a point or make some points. We already got one person on the stream. This must be a good time for a couple of people on the stream. This must be a good time for all of you guys. Feel free to throw anything in the chat. I'm happy to discuss whatever you'd like to discuss. Not a whole lot going on. I had an interview last night. Not sure how it went. It was for a job back in San Francisco. If I passed it, I'll move on to the third round. If I didn't pass, then that's the end of the road for that opportunity. And I'll have yet some more time here in Thailand, which I can't complain about. Yeah, love it here in Thailand so much that it's a win-win scenario. If I got it, well, that's going to allow me to invest aggressively and pour most of that salary, most of those paychecks into investments, which will help set me up to come back to Thailand later on. If I didn't get it, then ideally I've got some. I can finish out my time in Thailand and move on to the next opportunity out there for me. I have the option to extend my visa, and it's really tempting, but at the same time, there's some places that I want to see that I've never seen before, and yeah, there's just so much to see in Asia. It's like I could live my lifetime in this part of the world and not run out of things to see and do. I guess I could pull up a mall that I checked out recently. This was my first time in this mall. I think it's a new mall here in Bangkok. Let's pull up a tab and we'll just pull it up. Probably many of you are familiar with it. Hey, we got 3 viewers. Feel free to jump in with any thoughts or questions that you guys have. Let's share maps. And that's what I wanted to do tonight. Asiatic at the riverfront. Oh, that's okay. May get into that sometime this week. But Samyan. So I checked out Samyan. I don't know how you pronounce it. Let me know. Throw it in the chat if you know how to pronounce this. But Town now. I just got off the phone with one of my Thai friends. We talked for a couple hours. I should have asked her how you pronounce this. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and message her that. I want to know how a Thai person would pronounce this. It's just. I know the Samyan part, but the second part, a little bit tricky there. So yeah, really cool mall. Super modern, like most of the malls in Bangkok. Very cool artistic displays. I don't think I went to the upper floors, so I need to go back to this mall sometime this week. I was down there to look at some shoes. I saw some of what I wanted. I also checked out this outlet at MBK. They didn't have my size at the outlet, so I may loop back here and grab a pair of Adidas just because I find them to be really comfortable and I put a lot of miles on them. I will say this latest style that I purchased in Pattaya last fall has lasted me a long time. It's a little bit sturdier model. I think maybe the sole is just made of a different material as opposed to having that kind of rubber sole that seems to wear out a bit more quickly. And I walk so much in Bangkok, so I really go through shoes very quickly and wear them out very quickly. And you may feel the same way that when you come over here, there's just so much to see, so much in the way of eye candy that it's just a visually stunning place. Like I don't know what this design is or this piece is, but it's very beautiful. And they've got the Tim Hortons for those who are Canadian, perhaps watching the replay of this stream. Then, um, yeah, Tim Hortons is a popular Canadian chain, and I think this is the first Bangkok location. Um, I don't know if I've had Tim Hortons before. I have. They're in America as well, but certainly interesting to see them halfway around the world. This mall is really nice. They've got got a lot of fashion stores and then a lot of restaurants, and it's conveniently located here, not too far from Lumpini Park. I'm kind of wondering if this was under construction. Let me look this up. When was Samyan built? I'm getting inconclusive. Okay, so it was open. Maybe I had seen it before when I came here on my last trip. I was like, this doesn't seem super familiar. Around on that trip, I was staying here near Lumpini Park, and I would just come down Rama 4, just like walking, like, where am I? I mean, for Bangkok back then, feeling so alien to me, and even now, at times, it feels alien in a good way. It's like it's just a sensory overload of the city. So I actually walked there from where I'm staying in Sathon, Saton, Saton, and then came up past Trula, um, and where so MBK? Yeah, I think it was. So this is MBK. It's a great place, by the way. If you need to replace your phone battery, MBK is a great spot. They have like dozens of shops. There's a specific one that I like. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but we've also got some language schools in here. And after that, I came to, let's see, I don't know if it's going to pop up. It's right around here, Platinum Fashion Mall. And this is an alternative to Chatuchak, in my opinion. If you're somebody who needs to get clothes, and I needed to get a dress shirt for my interview, and you don't want to make it up to Chatuchak, which can be a bit far if you're staying on Sukhumvit, then I think this is a great alternative. The selection's great. They have 5 or 6 floors. It is packed, so I would say be prepared. It's one of the busiest malls I've been to in Thailand, and that's saying a lot. But if you're looking for clothes, I think it's a great place to maybe even stock up. They had a deal. This shirt I got for this was 300, and I'm not going to put it on, but this red button-up shirt was 350 baht. And then she said, if I get, I think she said 4 for 1,000, maybe 4 for 1,100 baht, something like that. And so if I get a job back in the States, I'm probably going to go stock up on a work wardrobe. Now the sizes are Thai sizes, so be prepared to try things on. They don't have a dressing room, so you just have to kind of put it on over your clothes. Felt a little bit vulnerable in that position. I saw a Thai gentleman purchasing a pair of pants, and he was putting it over his pants, and his family started laughing, and then I started laughing, and we were all just laughing because there's not a dressing room. So that was just so funny. That was, I have so many moments like that in Thailand of innocent laughter, and having fun. And they have, if you're hungry at Platinum Fashion Mall, they have some of the same chains you're familiar with throughout the city. Like I like Sukiya a lot. It's like Japanese rice bowls, and they of course they got a KFC and they got a food court with like your standard Thai options and a smoothie spot, which I needed because I was cooking that day. And this was the heat of the day in Bangkok, and it was such a relief to be able to grab a smoothie in here. And I think the designer of this building with the golden dome here is the same designer of the Lebwa State Tower and the Sathon Unique Tower. And what else do I want to take a look at doing next week? Because even if I get this opportunity, which is not guaranteed, I've got to pass the third round. I'll still want to make the most of the time. Um, so I want to come down here to let's see. I want to come see this. It is, I would say, it's fairly touristy, but if you've ever seen a view of Bangkok, especially the Chao Phraya River, and you see this Ferris wheel is part of this this spot. They've got, I guess, mostly it's food. I meant to go there tonight, but I just felt so tired for some reason, and kind of wondering if I have the uh, have COVID-19. It's going around Bangkok right now. One of my friends actually just tested positive yesterday, and I think her mother is sick as well. So that's definitely going around right now. I recommend if you're coming here, just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. It's not too far either from. I think you can get a free ferry from not too far from Icon Siam. So I think you just it's like up here. You hop on right here, the Saton Ferry Port, and you can hop on it and come down here. I guess you could get off of it up here and then maybe walk down Tanon Charon Krung. I love Thailand. Just such a wonderful country. I can't say enough positive things about my time here. I do apologize for not announcing this one in advance. I know it's not exactly the the ideal when you all don't get advance notice of these. It's a few things. One, it's scheduling can be a little bit tricky. Two, sometimes just not feeling it. But yeah, it's also great, I think, to do these on the weekends where we have better odds of folks having time to join in and chat. else? What else? I did mention this temple on a stream a few streams ago. I do want to go back there, so that's something that I need to add to my notes for this week is to get over to the Paknam Phasi Sharon Temple. Spend time in the Brooklyn of Bangkok. I really agree with that sentiment. The more time I spend in Tomburi, the more I can see that it's like got the Brooklyn vibe. I do want to come out here to Chom Tong. I don't know what's going on over here, but getting a bit further west of Tomburi might open up some interesting activities. None of my Thai friends have been over here, so I don't mean that in okay, that's enough of this. Um, but they've just never had any reason to go this far west of the river, and it's just so interesting to meet people that have lived in the city their whole life. But it's probably similar in LA. I mean, there's certainly people in LA that haven't been to some parts of the city because there's nothing wrong with those parts of the city. They just haven't had much reason to go that far away from home. I find that a lot of Thai people, their lives are much more family centric, which inherently means that connection to home more so than in the West. Yeah, this is a beautiful temple. I'm kind of wondering if I could grab a riverboat. I don't know if they have them on the west side of the city. I've seen them a little bit around the temple, but I don't know if it's just to view the temple or if you can do a full on trip. If so, I would take one all the way out to like or Bangkok. Also, feel free to chime in with any questions or thoughts. Um, Anything that's on your mind tonight, I'm happy to chat about anything. So this is actually like the general area, and I think it's fine for me to talk about this. I dated a woman that lived down here in Pradang a couple of years ago, and recently I reached out to her just to see how she was doing and check in with her. And things didn't end on the best terms, and I'd like to take an opportunity to apologize to her. Kind of let her know I could have handled that a little bit better. Um, but yeah, she's down here in the south of the city. I haven't actually been over here, but I want to check that out. But I also want to check this out. Like I don't know what all of this is. Um, okay, Kuan Khan Park and Botanical Garden. Okay, so there's wow, that is gorgeous. Never been here before. This looks beautiful. I've got to make it a point to see this week. So gorgeous. Wow. Yeah, this I may even need to rent a bike for this one. Just it seems like a lot of these folks are riding bikes, and to really see this big park, you could benefit a lot from having a bicycle. Oh, and it's near this bridge. This bridge I want to see up front or see up close. And they have a floating market. Yeah, so this is wild. This will be I didn't realize this is part of Samut Prakan as well. Time has been spent east of the river, and I'm starting to west of the river, and being being near the river, like where I'm at right now, is definitely helpful for getting west of the river. Let's see. I'm not going to put in my exact location, but I'll put in uh, a location near me. Yeah, here we go. So it's a lengthy ride. Wow. So I would need to ride bus over here down to opposite Sri Krum village, and then oh, you could take the long tail to the Green Lung. Let me look that up actually after this, because that's something that I've heard a lot about, haven't seen it myself. And they have a Hindu temple. Wow, very cool. All right, let's check out the Green Lung because I want to see. Ciao. Okay, let's see this. Fun. So I guess that is the Green Lung. Maybe the Green Lung is the nickname for it. Let's see. So yeah, I guess that's the Green Lung. Need to make it a point to go check it out. Hmm. Oh, building material store. Not something that I'll be needing on this trip. Okay, I'm all about the seafood, and this is something I might have to check out. Right, not the reviews. Let's look at the pictures. All these crabs, clams, shrimp. Very nice looking. I do want to check out Central Rama 3. I checked out the Terminal 21, which is awesome. By the way, hidden gem, really quick, I'll show you um, here. So if you like Rama, or if you like Terminal 21 and Asok, but you want a much more chilled out with a lot of the same stores, restaurants, conveniences, come to Terminal 21 Rama 3. Of course, it's not quite the same level of convenience as that Asok location, but it's really nice. I mean, you get convenience, the variety, the beautiful decorations without the crowds. It was like so strange to be in a Terminal 21 that wasn't packed to the brim. Now it is popular. See a lot of people there, but not near to the same extent that you'll see at the Asok branch. But let's go back to Rama 3, Central Rama 3. Oh, wow. Beautiful. Yeah, I gotta check this out. I've been to so many centrals in Thailand, but it's just such a lovely experience every time. I don't mind going to see some more. Looks like we got 3 viewers on here. Feel free, guys, to jump in the comments in the chat, and love to hear your thoughts, or maybe share some ideas. Maybe there's some things you'd like for me to cover or pull up and look at. I heard they closed up the airplane graveyard in Bangkok, which is disappointing. Oh, did I make it to Paseo Town, Ramkhamhaeng? I know that I've spent some time in the mall life store. There's a lot of interesting, I think, are a little bit underrated. Um, I walked around a lot out here when I was living out here, and got to see a little bit a little bit less touristic side to the city. Wow. Okay, that's beautiful. That is so beautiful. If they have soccer games here, whereas everybody else outside of America calls it football. Mm. I don't know how far out I can go. Something that would be interesting to me, I don't know if you could do this, but taking a boat down the entirety of the Chao Phraya, all the way out to where the river feeds into the Gulf. There's also one of my friends wanted to take me here, and I think we'll probably try to go sometime in the next month or so. There's this in Samut Prakan. There's this dragon temple. It's this huge dragon. May Samut Prakan Dragon Temple. Done some wrong. So I guess it's right. It's out here. Okay. Let's see the temple popping up. Oh, there's a mall. Wow, that's not really that bad time-wise. Like hour or 45 minutes to get all the way out here. We're not too far from Savanapum. Hmm. Hey, Michael, how are you doing? Good to see you. Hi. I'm just enjoying a chill night in Bangkok. Of course, I'm not feeling super tired because I woke up at like 11 a.m. today, and because I stayed up last night till probably about 3 a.m. I had an interview at like midnight that went till almost 1 a.m. And after that, I just couldn't get to sleep for a couple hours, so I woke up late. And so part of what I'm thinking is after this stream, I might go out wandering the streets of Bangkok. It's just such a vibrant city, and there's this like buzzing energy there. And yeah, oh, I'm glad to hear you're doing well. Just chilling out. That's the best way to spend a Saturday night. It's great, wild times going out and doing things and meeting interesting people. But this part of the world, Southeast Asia, Thailand, Philippines, also a place where it's so easy to recharge, right? It's so easy to just stay at home and you're not going to face any judgment. Um, you can just relax and recharge. Whereas I feel like sometimes back home, there's this maybe it's just working, maybe part of it's just having a full-time schedule where it's like, okay, I've maximized my enjoyment on Saturday and Sunday. I've got to go take advantage of that time to go out and interact with other people and socialize, maybe go have some drinks, meet up with some friends. But here I could do that any day of the week, so it is kind of a treat to have that time to just relax on the weekends. So what else? I want to make it down to Hua Hin, but I don't know. Like, I'm having so much fun in Bangkok. It's it's just kind of hard to like, knowing that my time in Thailand may be coming to a close soon. It's like, there's so much you haven't seen in Bangkok, and Hua Hin will always be there. But Bangkok is this dynamic city that's always changing, and every time I come to it, it feels like a different city. Like there's new buildings, there's new malls, there's new restaurants, there's new art to look at. Um, it's it's hard for me to understate the it's hard for me to overstate the level of energy here. Like it's just constantly buzzing, and there's motorbikes whizzing by, and there's delicious food cooking up on every corner, and there's Thai people going about their lives dressed to the nines. People dress very well here. I feel like I'm always underdressed in Thailand. And to be fair with the heat, the heat not being something that I think as many Americans are used to, even being from the southeast, it's still more hot and humid here. Then I'm always like, okay, well, if I dress up, I know my nice clothes are going to be soaked pretty quick, just walking around outside. So I It's a good excuse to rest down here. Okay, this is interesting. I just popped up on here, Chang Chui Creative Park. Okay, that's cool. I love how they do this. There's an airplane. Um, I saw something similar in Pattaya, and they're just so cool to look at. To go up to like an airplane. I don't know if this is an actual airplane or a model of one. So much visual stimulation here. I love it. Hey, Matt, how's it going? How are you doing tonight? I'm just checking out this place that popped up on Google Maps, Changchui Creative Park. That's something that I might have to add to my list and go check it out. It's in the northwest part of the city. I don't know, north, mostly the west part of the city, like west of the Dusit district, west of Bang Flat. Oh, Anthropology Center. Oh, that's got to be interesting. Learn about the history of Thailand. I checked out. This was on the top floor of Icon CM, and they had a really nice art gallery there to look at. Had a lot of Thai art and a creative that really enjoyed it. One that I want to do as well. I think not too far from where I live, Bangkokian Museum. They turned this house, formerly belonged to this family, into a museum to show people the average Thai home is like on the inside. And I think this is a very nice home, um, especially by Western standards. I know Thai standards are quite high in a lot of ways, but this would be a like a multi-million dollar house back in California. To tonight, Matt, how's it going? Or I guess should say morning. I guess it's morning right now. Any weekend plans for you this weekend? I guess they have these are mosquito nets, so very cool. That would be definitely very helpful to have. I've definitely had a few mosquito bites when I had a more open air style apartment. In Hot Yai, my apartment it was a little bit open air style, not totally, but you could definitely see where there was, especially under the door, there was opportunity for mosquitoes to get in. I got bit a little bit more there. Fortunately, I did not get dengue. It's something that I am paranoid in the back of my mind. Every time I get bitten by a mosquito, I'm like, this is it. But fortunately, that hasn't happened. I don't know if it's just luck or if it's my immune system that's honestly not that great, but I'm grateful to not have gotten dengue. Knock on glass. Oh, this is a beautiful cathedral. I don't think I've seen this one. It looks like something that came from like Spain or something that you would see in the Philippines. Wow, that is gorgeous. That's really cool. It's very nice to look at. And it's like across the river from Icon Siam. I guess you know what? I have probably seen it. I just haven't walked up to it. Oh, you know what? Maybe part of it is that it's behind the Mandarin Oriental because I've seen this hotel plenty of times, but uh, it's probably dwarfing everything behind it. Up and giving everything away. So, Matt, are you getting closer to your time to come over here? Is it getting closer to your exit date, leaving the United States and coming here to Thailand? Because that's a momentous occasion. Like I'm sure you've got a lot of mixed feelings about it, and maybe mixed. It's a big change for you, right? I mean, I know you spent a lot of time here in Thailand, but yeah, you know, I just came here 1 year ago, and it feels like a lifetime ago that I was living in America, and I'm not super looking forward to going back, but you know, I know I'll be able to come here long term eventually. And talking to subs like you who have diligently saved, invested, worked really hard, and made a lot of sacrifices to make your dream a reality, helped to inspire me to stay on the path and keep being diligent about working hard and grinding it out and moving toward my goal. And I think mentally you're going to be in a great place, probably better than where I'm at because you know you're not going to have to go back, especially if you're giving away a lifetime of toilet paper. But yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, I think during COVID, a lot of us stocked up on stuff like toilet paper, and we maybe stocked up on more than we could use in a reasonable time frame. And when we're heading out, it's yeah, we're having to get rid of those things. And Matt, you were just in Thailand like a month ago, right? What was that like? What was your how was your trip? I've always kind of wondered, and I don't know if it's like a port thing, why the east side of I don't know if this is the bay. I don't know if you call it the Gulf. The Gulf, yeah, I guess this big Gulf of Thailand. Why the east side is so developed down to Pattaya, and you can see this if you've ever taken a bus from Bangkok to Pattaya. It's quite developed. I mean, you it thins out a little bit, like on the far east side around the border of Cha Choing Sao, Choang Cheng Sao, and Samut Prakan. But then you get down here and you see, like, for example, Sriracha. I talked to a woman that lived up there, and they've got a lot of Japanese businesses there manufacturing. But then you come over here, and this is like probably the only. Um, well, there's just not as much, you know. I mean, you get down to Hua Hin, and there's definitely development around Hua Hin, but like it's not doesn't seem quite to the same extent as on the east side of the Gulf. I bought a building lot in Prey Province. I'm a little bit older than you. I retired from a paper manufacturer. Well, congratulations. Congrats on your retirement. I know it's well earned. I know that you worked hard for many years and really, you know, contributed a lot to American society and the economy. And it's your retirement to Thailand is well deserved, well earned, and I think you're going to really. Uh, well, I know you're really going to enjoy it, right? I mean, you've been here quite a few times, and I'm guessing, and I don't mean to assume, Matt. I'm guessing you bought that with your Thai significant other, um, just because I've heard, you know, we Western people can't purchase in Thailand land. We can purchase condos. So, but see, Matt says the trip was good, mostly business. Well, I'm really glad to hear that. And I can imagine, like, your trips are different from somebody who's just coming for vacation or just coming for tourism. Like, you're trying to set yourself up for a successful retirement, and you're going to have a dream home in the country. And uh, the first woman I dated in Thailand was actually from Frey. So that name sticks out to me because I remember asking her, "Where are you from?" Like, I don't know. At the time, I didn't know anything about Thailand. I think I'd been in Thailand for like a week at that point. I'm like, "Where am I? This alien world? Like, how did I get my bearings?" And so she and I communicated with Translate, and I asked her, "Where are you from?" Because, like, every at the time, I was thinking everybody in Thailand lives in Bangkok or Chiang Mai, because those are the only two cities I'd been at that point. I didn't know there's this country outside of Bangkok and Chiang Mai. And so she was like, "Oh, I'm from Bray." And I found out, being in Chiang Mai, you have lots of students in Chiang Mai that are from the surrounding provinces. And Chiang Mai is this business hub, this education hub, but a lot of people aren't from there, right? It's like this dynamic, vibrant city that has people from all over the north living there. As YouTube algorithm sent me your channel, been watching for a few days, keep making content, my brother. I traveled to a few places and I'm a young dude. I want to try Thailand or the Philippines soon. Yeah, I think it's wonderful, Jay. You're already on it. I think some of the um, let's see. I guess I don't know if there's ads running right now. I do apologize if that's interrupting this interrupting this chat right now. But yeah, Thailand and the Philippines, both great options, Jay. I will say that you can't go wrong with either. I think a lot of people should try both, just to see what they're most interested in. There's trade-offs. A lot of people were asking me which is better, Philippines or Thailand. I don't feel that either one is better than the other. I think that they're different flavors. It's like asking, well, what's better, um, mangoes in Thailand or pineapple? Well, both are fantastic. I think you can't go wrong with mangoes. You can't go wrong with pineapples. And getting a sense of what you like when you're young is great. I know some people want to move to this part of the world when they're young. I lean more toward, I want to get my money in the West and then come over here and have that financial stability, because it's not a place where you can make money. I mean, legally, if you don't have a work permit, you're not supposed to be working at all. But beyond that, then if you don't speak the language, if you're not super familiar with the culture, you're going to have an easier time, if not making your money in the West, at least getting your business established and then coming over. Some would disagree with that. But for me, anyway, I'm not counting on hitting the lottery or something like that. I know some people, they may have, some circumstance where they're going to inherit some assets. And I'm not I'm not necessarily counting on that. So that's the way I look at it. Doing it with a bit more stability is earning my money in the West, saving, investing. Also doing these trips because there's no guarantee I make it to retirement age. My grandfather had his first major heart situation. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube or not, but the major heart thing that a lot of people suffer from in the US at 38 years old, right? And so I'm 30. And my concern is, okay, if I totally delay gratification, if I don't spend time over there and just wait until I hit my fire number, I may have some kind of health issue that makes it so that I'm not able to make it, right? I mean, I don't want to be the person that, okay, I've delayed and delayed and delayed, and then finally get over, and a week later, I'm in. So I'm doing these trips to do more discovery and figure out, okay, what do I like? What do I not like? Is the big city for me? Am I a Bangkok person? Or am I a little bit different? Am I more like Matt, where Matt has found that the province is going to be the place that he enjoys spending time, the place where he can be close with his significant other's family, and also have some opportunities there to potentially do some business. He mentions interfamily business. So that's what's so powerful. A lot of people, I think, um, they want to move over here, and I think it's a good idea for a lot of guys. But I simultaneously think doing that research, spending, I mean, last year when I was working in the US, I spent the entire year researching. I spent tons of times watching YouTube, tons of time watching YouTube videos, all the popular channels you can think of. Like the biggest one that I could think of is Retired Working for You, but also watching a lot of Bangkok Pat, also Irish Times, which I was interviewed on back in February. Um, you can't. I think there's never you can't spend too much of your free time in the West learning, not just learning, but also earning, because doing those two things, earning and learning, will prepare you very well. If I hadn't come over here and did several stints, I wouldn't have been prepared for this year. And so I always suggest building up to it. Like you come on your initial vacation, you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. You wonder, is that just vacation mode? Or do I actually want to live that way? Is it where, yes, Michael, I'll definitely get into that. Michael says I'm in the Philippines, and yeah, so you've also got a lot of guys that Thailand may not be for them. They may feel like, you know what, the language barrier may stop, may just, what's the word, may be an obstacle for me, that I prefer to go to the Philippines. Others may feel like, well, you know what, um, there's a lot of things to like about both. I mentioned it before, but there's a lot I like about the Philippines as well. I I connected really well with the Filipino people. I connect well with Thai people as well. But if there's one thing that maybe I've struggled a little bit in the last year is with the English. Now I have found more Thai people than you would think have English. Like I've approached Thai people at temples just about what to do, and they spoke great English. And not even the people working there, like people that are just Bangkokians just visiting the temple. Speaking of which, there's a podcast. I can't think of the name. He was on Irish Times like a year ago. He did a great video on the Sathon. I think it's called Idea Studio. He's great. I want to watch his stream. He's gonna do one. I think he does them every Sunday. So it might be tomorrow that I watch him, and I need to throw up a notification for myself to remind myself. But yeah, Matt says make it in the West, spend it in the East. I think that's a great attitude to have, Matt. And you're going to be able to make money so much more quickly in the West. And as far as the cost of living versus income ratio, it's still good. Even though it's not as good as it was in the past in the Western democracies, it's still good. I mean, this sounds wild, but I'm willing to like live in tiny apartments or live in my car or to go to any lengths to put away as much money as possible. And this is where, Michael says another option is to learn the stock market and trading options, good dividends, and use this crypto bull run to secure your. I agree, Michael. I'm loaded up on Algorand. Anyone watching this live or watching a rerun, I don't get financial advice because I'm not licensed for that, but I am loaded up on Algorand. This is not a suggestion to buy it. It's just the one that I'm holding a lot of. And when I go back, ideally I get a job in the coming months this fall, and I'm able to load up on some other cryptos. I'd like to load up on actual Bitcoin and get some dividends. My ideal, Michael, would be to collect about 2,000 a month or so in dividend income every month, and then use that as a base for my expenses. So paying my rent from that, paying for my food for that, paying for transportation, paying for clothes, paying for electronics, and then like if the Philippines ends up being my longtime home, which being a single guy, that's going to be probably the big differentiator is, do I meet and have a relationship, a marriage with a Thai woman or with a Filipina? Because that's part of it. Now, this isn't the only reason, but that's a legitimate way to have a visa in one of these countries. Now, am I getting ready for that visa? No. First off, that's illegal. Second off, that's a terrible reason to have a relationship with somebody. But I don't know where I'm going to meet the right person. But I do know that I want to live in this part of the world. Of course, visa is a little bit easier than Thailand's visa. With the Philippines, Americans get up to 3 years and can just rinse, repeat. They can leave and come back just as a tourist. But Thailand being a little more challenging. But I know that I'll eventually qualify for that retirement visa in Thailand, so that's another option. But that's that to me is also a signifier of love for the country, love for these places, is being willing to commit to them in many different aspects of your life. And I undoubtedly, like, I know Thailand could be that for me after a year here. And in the future, I could spend a year in the Philippines. The Philippines could be that for me. Um, in some ways, Thailand is easier. In some ways, the Philippines is easier. I find that the English in the Philippines is really fantastic. But yeah, back to investing, I think that sorting out your finances in the West will prepare you for a much more comfortable life in this part of the world. Knowing, hey, if something comes up and I need to pay for it, I can do so. It's not going to be a major issue. If I need to pay for a doctor's appointment or take the dog to the veterinarian, or if there are children involved, hey, we need to, take the kids to the doctor, or you want to take a vacation, for example. Like sometimes you just want to get out of your neighborhood, you just want to get out of your house, you want to go down to the islands, or if you're in the Philippines, you want to go to a different island. Maybe you want to go to the big city for a week or a weekend. All these things open up for you when you do bring more money. And I've really been grateful that I didn't that I brought and as much as I did for this trip, because it gave me the opportunity to go and see several different parts of the country. Like one of my concerns with this lifestyle and talking to people about this lifestyle is they'll see this video or they'll see my videos and they'll think, okay, Bangkok, I got to go to Bangkok. And Bangkok is awesome. I call it to some extent Thailand with training wheels if you stay on Sukhumvit, because you're going to have plenty of English, Western style restaurants, very nice accommodations. Many of the Western brands you're familiar with. Same with Philippines. I haven't been to Manila, but I have been to Cebu. And in Cebu, you've got the same deal. You've got your Western style malls, you've got your nice hotels, you've got in some areas you're going to feel like you're in the West, right? So the places like Cebu IT Park, and you dip your toes in the water, and but then you realize, you know what? I like a more country style, or I like a smaller city, and you can also adjust your budget to that, because I think some people are like, well, I've got to make enough to afford to live in Makati or BGC or the high end areas of Bangkok, Tonglor. But you may find Tonglaw, but you may find that you don't want to live in these places. You love visiting them, but you're not really a big city person, or maybe you're not used to living in a city with, like, say 20 million people in it. I think 18 million in Bangkok's case, 15 to 18 million in Bangkok's case, and then in the metro area, and then Manila. Manila is actually the most densely populated city in the world. So you've got 25 million people living there. And while the Filipino people are lovely, right? Not all of us are used to being in such a busy area with so many people, because what I'm accustomed to in the West is lower population density. I grew up in a suburb of Nashville, and it was not uncommon to walk around the neighborhood and not see anybody. Now, of course, if you're there like in the hours after work, but before sundown, like in the summer, yeah, you'll see people mowing their grass, but people aren't really. In Asia, you have this vibrancy where, like, people are just like bumping into each other and like drawn to each other and like talking to each other, and it's just this very gregarious kind of social scene where you feel like you're always engaging, like your environment is giving you feedback. And in the West, a little bit less so. I feel like sometimes the feedback we get in the West is kind of harsh. um, Great question, Michael. So I know you mentioned that you lived in Nashville on one of the Philippines Atlantic streams. So I lived in a lot of different parts of the city. It was kind of a challenging circumstance. So when I was born, we lived in Antioch, which is the southeast part of the city. And then my mom bought a house in Hendersonville where my grandparents lived, and we lived there for a while. And then my mom passed away when I was 8, and so we moved to the city. my grandma was seeing this guy in Green Hills, which is like the nicest part of the city, nicest part of Nashville. This professor at Vanderbilt, and he we lived with him for a while, and so we moved to Green Hills and lived with him for a few years, from like when I was 8 to like 15. Well, we stayed in Hendersonville during the week, and then we'd go to Green Hills on the weekend, and then on the and then right at the start of high school, right before I started high school. Wow, what a small world, Michael! I can't believe that. Yeah, I can't believe that. What a small world that you actually went to Glencliff High School. I actually know I grew up, I was babysat a lot in Antioch and the Glengarry area by this Afghan family. And they also went to Glencliff. What a small world. I can't believe that. Yeah, that's shocking to me that you actually I didn't realize. See, I was in the impression that you maybe moved to Nashville for work as an adult. I didn't realize you actually uh, gosh, what a small world. Yeah, that's yeah. And so when I was 18, I ended up moving out to Jackson, which is like West Tennessee. I'll pull it up on a map here. So I moved out to this town, which ain't my preference, but I moved out here and lived with him for under a year. I went to community college, and then I moved back to Nashville. Went to college in Murfreesboro. Went to MTSU um, in Murfreesboro for 3 years, and then for my last year of college, I moved back up to Nashville. I got the most rundown apartment I could find over on the west side of the city. It's actually got right here. So I was right around here, and it actually got torn down. And last time I checked, uh, and then I moved to Colorado after I finished my degree. I moved out to Denver, lived in Denver for 3 years, and then I moved to the Bay Area. Wow, what that's such a shock. You're familiar with these places, Michael, and you've lived in them, and yeah, I hope we get to meet at some point in the future. Like, I'm not sure what part of the Philippines you're at. I never caught that in the Philippines Antic streams, but yeah, that's mind blowing to me that we're chatting halfway around the world. That's mind blowing. Yeah, Jackson's got some colleges, and there's some manufacturing out there. They're actually building a Ford battery plant out there. And so I was in Denver for a few years selling stuff on eBay. I'd go to this Goodwill Outlet World. Let's see, Goodwill Outlet World. Um, Here we go. Yeah, right over here. So I'd come here and pick up stuff and then sell it online. And I lived well, first I lived downtown. I lived here in Capitol. And then I moved out to Lakewood, moved out here near Golden, and really enjoyed. This was like my favorite part of the city. That when I lived out in Denver for a few years, really uh, convenient part of the city. And then I left Denver to go try the Bay Area out. So I moved out to San Francisco area. I lived in Berkeley for I think I was out there for like 6 months, and then I went back to Tennessee to try to get a computer science degree because first degree was useless, liberal arts degree. I wanted to go to law school at that time because I was listening to other people in my life, family, as to what I should do instead of thinking about it internally. And now I regret that. I regret getting that degree. I wish I'd got an IT degree. I'd be much further along. I probably would be um, retired in Thailand at this point. But so I came out here and then I went back to Jackson. I was in Jackson for a couple of years, but half the time I was in Jackson, I did a 4-month trip to Thailand, well, Southeast Asia. I started in Cambodia. Let's go back to started in Phnom Penh. Asked me to come to Phnom Penh. He was like, "You should check it out." And I don't know. I've never heard much about it. I don't know anything about Cambodia. He's like, "Come on, we'll have fun." And he took me out with some of his friends, and we hit up some bars and had a blast. I mean, it was a wild introduction to a different part of Southeast Asia because I had visited Thailand in 2018 for the first time, but this was at the end of 2019. And so then I'd spent a few, maybe 2.5 weeks in Phnom Penh, and then after Phnom Penh, I went to Japan. No, did I go to Japan? No, I went to the Philippines. So this was actually my first trip to the Philippines. Was I flew from I flew from Phnom Penh to I think it was Cebu. I think it was Phnom Penh to Bangkok, um, Bangkok to Cebu, and so then I landed in Cebu, but I immediately flew to Cagayan de Oro, and so my first real taste of the Philippines was CDO. I had a virtual assistant that he still lives in CDO, but I think he's moving up to Malaybalay, which is yeah, Malaybalay. So I didn't make it to Malaybalay. He wanted to take me up there because that's where he's working at the time and working now as well. He works for Malek, the local election commission, and spent some time with him and his family in CDO, like learned about Filipino hospitality. They're so kind and warm. Had my first Christmas in the Philippines and really enjoyed it a lot. Cagayan de Oro is a little bit different than a lot of places that people find themselves in the Philippines because a lot of people, when they come to the Philippines, they're thinking about, let's see, they're thinking about over here, Palawan, El Nido. They're thinking about these Puerto Princesa. They're thinking about these gorgeous tourism destinations, and CDO is a humble industrial city, and they might also be thinking about Manila, like the big city vibes. But Cagayan de Oro is much more like it's people in the metro area, so you got a lot of manufacturing there, like some bottling plants, and maybe a couple of malls. Like they have SNR, they have SM City, which this is probably the nicest, newest mall. They also have Gaisano. Let's see, Gaisano. So this is a different Gaisano. The Gaisano, I was under the impression that there's a different Gaisano. Okay, Limkit Kai. Okay, Limkit Kai is another one of these malls. But they have this such an interesting vibe in the Philippines, and people are super friendly, and they were curious about my vlogging. I think that the vlogging has really grown a lot over the last 5 years, but definitely a lot of people were smiling and friendly. And I didn't make it down to Kogon Public Market. It's something I want to check out next time. And so I spent about a week there, and then I took a bus. I don't know where the bus terminal is in CDO. My buddy told me where it was, but I hopped on the bus or the. It's kind of like a sport van that you get in, and we rode up to here, and took about 2 hours to get to up here. But I think the ferry is in Balingon, and then I took a ferry over to Camigan Island, and it goes all the way around. So I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be like this is going to be like an hour ride, right? You can just see this doesn't look too far, but no, you go all the way around. So you go all the way around. Might have even been over here. No, that's White Island. So I think it was over here. And so then I had to take a jeepney or a trike all the way down. I think I booked in Queen Saliban. Yeah, I think I booked over here. And I remember offering the or so I bought a combo ticket. I was supposed to get the ferry ride and the ride and a jeep ride, not a jeepney, but a jeep ride to my hotel. But then they were going the opposite direction, so they're coming. They're the jeep or not, but I'm going the opposite direction. And I'm coming over here. So when we get over there, they're like, "Yeah, just hop on a jeepney and sort out, your way from there." And we pull up to this dark road, and I remember offering the jeepney driver, "Oh, it's 20 pesos." He was like, "No, it's 30." And I've been trying to take advantage. And like 40 versus 60 cents. Like, here you go, man. Um, I was just grateful because I'm getting here at like probably 9, 10 p.m. at night, and I have no idea where I am. It's not very well lit late at night, and so he dropped the entrance to the road that had my resort, and got off there and fell in love with Kemigan. I recommend Kemigan for anybody that wants a intro to the Philippines, that wants to do something a little bit off the tourist trail. I mean, it is touristic, but maybe less so than like Boracay or El Nido, like I mentioned before. You get so on that week. So I was in Kemigan for a week. We saw this, which is one of the most beautiful places. They have this clam sanctuary, and so you have your snorkeling over. Hey, don't touch. Basically, the clams will close shut if you touch, so don't touch. But they are huge. I mean, they're massive clams, and they show you too where they raise them from the younger ages in these tanks, and then I think they transport them out into the water. And it's a great learning experience. I want to say it was like 500 pesos, maybe it was 1,000 pesos. Well worth it. Well worth it to check this sanctuary out, and really an educational experience, understanding the ecology of the Philippines. It's such a special environment that like I could see why they want to be extra careful about protecting these beautiful places. And I made my way around. I don't think I made it to Mantagui. I think that was the one thing I didn't make it to, and I'd like to do it next time I make it to Camigan. But yeah, so over here I made it to the sunken cemetery. Um, was I White Island? This is what I was trying to show. Okay, White Island is one of the highlights of Camigan, and you get on these boats, and they take you out from the island to this strip of sand that's shifting. It's just like the shape changes as I guess the water levels change, and they have these vendors that will help set up these umbrellas for you to help cover you because the sun is so bright. I mean, it is just beating down. Like you really want to pack some sunscreen for your trip to the Philippines if you haven't been over here. But yeah, so I got out in the water and was swimming, and the water is not too deep and it's not cold either, so it's really comfortable. I saw a clownfish in the water. That was the most memorable thing of this. One of the most memorable things of visiting White Island was seeing a clownfish, because I've seen them in aquariums, I've seen them in zoos, but I'd never seen one in person. And seeing one in its natural habitat was just mind blowing to me. And it's not crowded either. Like you can see, there's maybe 10 people on this island that if it were more well known, and I believe it will be in the future. I believe that Camigan will be extraordinarily popular in the future just because of how beautiful it is. It's out of everywhere I've been on earth, like the Philippines, especially this part of the Philippines, is probably the most beautiful place I've been on the planet. And I know that I haven't been to that many places compared to some other more well experienced travelers, but it's just so stunning, and it's not as well known. It's You don't have it built to go to Kemigan and have necessarily like the all the trappings of what you'd have in a more populous place, but it more than makes up for that in local charm and the dramatic landscapes, the volcano. There's like a dormant volcano on this island. And so being able to be in the water, looking at clownfish, looking at this vibrant marine life, and then poking your head out of the water and seeing this volcano and what looks like something out of a video game. Like that's what I because it is so surreal and so beautiful. To me, this island reminds me more of something you'd see or experience in a video game. And the people are nice on the Cape. I mean, the people are just so nice, and they just want you to enjoy their beautiful paradise. Okay, here we go, clownfish. So this is what I'm talking about that I saw here. They're just so beautiful. And was there anything else? I didn't get to check out the volcano in up close. It was like a several hour hike, and I didn't have the time for it. I think I had sandals with me. I don't know if I had proper hiking. I've heard it can be kind of slippery, but you hike through the jungle. I've also heard there are some poisonous snake or venomous snakes on Camigan, so that was something I'm a little bit concerned about. I know that they tend to have bright colors and they tend to not be aggressive, but you're not necessarily close to a place where I think you can get anti venom here. But yeah, beautiful volcano. Hebok, Hebok. And then if you want like kind of a city vibe, you do have that a little bit. They've got the Gaisano here if you need to get some basic stuff. I will say, in a Cagayan de Oro, the island, I'm not sure what the Camigan Island population. So 74,000 people on this island. So you'll have somewhat limited selection here, but still convenient to be in this what feels like a very remote and untouched place, and yet still be able to go and get some clothing. You have some Western foods here. You have some good restaurants too in Camigan. I was kind of surprised, but I had some really fantastic Italian food. I can't remember the name of the restaurant. This was it, Dulce Vita. Okay, yeah. So I think there's a similar restaurant in Dumaguete, though I haven't been to Dumaguete, but this Italian restaurant is fantastic. Well worth it. There's another one. I can't think of the name. There's a place that had Kenny Lau. And then there was another place that they had a breakfast buffet every day. It's like 150 pesos. And they had all this different stuff. It was really close to my place. If I think of it, I'll try to discuss it in another stream. But yeah, Camigan, super beautiful. It's one of those places that if I recommended one place that is undiscovered that I'd love for my subscribers to be able to check out before it just becomes super popular. Like as soon as the word gets out about this spot, I think it's just going to be that much more popular. It's already popular. It's already cool. I think a lot of people that have been here know about it, but I didn't feel unsafe at all. By the way, I know some people have some concerns about Mindanao. I never had issues in CDO. I did not go west of CDO. I know some popular channels have been to different parts of Western Mindanao. It's a risk that I'm not super open to taking. My buddy that lives in CDO said CDO is fine. He works in Balai. There are some ne'er-do-wells on the outskirts of Balai, but from what I've heard, they're not really in the city. I know, some popular channels have been to Balai recently, and I'd like to check it out next time I make it to is like his coworkers, get to know that local kind of feeling. He said there's a lot of farms and yeah, I'm also curious if it's a little bit cooler because I think that I've been shocked in the Philippines that I was shocked last to the Philippines at how much cooler it is up in the mountains, and how it can just be it can be a little bit different as far as temperature wise. Why so many people enjoy living in the mountains. Originally had plans to come back from Kemigan because I did a 6 hour trip from Cagayan de Oro to Kemigan, including the ferry. I had plans to come back to Cagayan de Oro and just come up here to the airport and fly out. But then my flight got delayed, and I thought, well, I didn't know this at the time, but I'm like, why don't I just book a flight off Kemigan? So I came here to the Kemigan airport, right across the street from this Italian restaurant, and hopped on a plane and flew to Cebu. And we were flying over the Sea of Bohol Sea, and we dropped. Like the plane, I don't know how far it dropped, but it just dropped. And I remember everybody in the plane screaming. I grabbed the arm of the person sitting next to me just because I'm like, where's the crap handle? You know, the handle you grab you have in your car that if something's to happen, you have the oh crap handle. Well, I grab it, and and then the plane stops falling. And I think we hit some kind of air pocket that caused the elevation to just drop. But I remember seeing the chocolate hills in the distance and being like, "Well, I guess this is the end." Like, this is probably the most beautiful place I could imagine to meet my end. Uh, there were several children crying, and there was a lot of everybody. I looked behind me because I was sitting in the very front row of the plane. Everybody looked shaken up and terrified, but fortunately, that was the end of it. And then we got to Cebu, landed in Cebu. We were shaken up, but we did make it. I stayed. Let's see, Griffin Hotel. I stayed here at the Griffin Hotel, so I didn't stay in IT Park. I found that one, I think this was a little bit better deal price wise. I want to say it was like 1,000 pesos a night back then. Now it's a bit more expensive. It's probably $30 a night now. But back then, IT Park was. I think I would have paid maybe $30 or $40 a night to stay in IT Park, and I'm like not that far from IT Park, and at this point, I'd spent a few weeks in the Philippines, and I was like, okay, I'm comfortable going a little bit off the beaten track. And so I stayed here, which is close to the capital, and you have a little bit different vibe. It's a little bit more old school in this neighborhood. You have, um, I think you see more Filipinos in this area. IT Park is wonderful. I'm a fan of IT Park. I actually went on some dates there and had a lot of fun. Uh, Meeting up with this Filipina I met online, and she showed me around IT Park. She was working there at a call center. I can't remember which call center she was working at, but I really, got a good taste of Cebu meeting her. She was from Bohol and moved up there for work, and yeah, we hit it off really well. I One thing I regret, I stayed in Cebu for about a week, is that I didn't make it up to the hills. There's all these hills and mountainous areas over here, and they look beautiful. There's a Taoist temple that I want to check out next time I go to Cebu. Look at that! Look at that dragon! It's so beautiful. The Philippines is just it's such a beautiful country, alongside Thailand, two of the most beautiful countries that I've been to. The colors, yeah, that's definitely something I want to check out next time. But IT Park, hey Tony, good to see you. Welcome to the stream. We're talking a bit about the Philippines tonight. IT Park, I look at IT Park as you've got one foot in the Philippines, one foot in the Western world. That's the best way I conceptualize these kind of expat hotspots, particularly in the bigger cities, because here everybody's going to have English. Like all the people working in call centers have great English because that's typically who they're serving. But all the people serving the people working in call centers also have good English because you also have people from different parts of the Philippines living here, and so they've got different dialects, and it's really a great place if you're like, well, I'm not sure if I'm ready to learn Tagalog or to learn Bisayan, and so I want to dip my toes in the water. I'll come here to IT Park. You've got um, you've got the popular Western brands here. You've got a lot of the skyscraper city vibe. It's very walkable. If you're a person like me who you like to walk around a lot, then I. And then after I learned the jeepney, but it was about a 40-minute. Came from here, walked all the way down. There's a really awesome burger spot. I can't think of the name off the top of my head. I think I mentioned it in one of Burger Joint. Yeah, this place is open till 9 p.m. Back then, it seemed like it was open 2 or 3 a.m. I remember going there. It had to be like midnight, but yeah, it had this kind of American diner vibe, and you had a lot of local people having good burgers there. New system very well at this point. I was just kind of not sure what to make of it because you kind of hop onto this vehicle and you're trying to squeeze in there and you don't want to step on people's toes. And when I was in Camigan, when I rode in a jeepney, I accidentally stepped on this elderly lady's toes. I was so apologetic and apologized. Felt like total garbage. I mean, yeah, this elderly lady who's just trying to her errands or whatever she's trying to do. But yeah, even me being Asian American, perhaps being smaller than some Americans, I still feel a little bit crowded on the jeepney. But at the same time, like and it's affordable. It's a real taste of the Philippines when you're riding a jeepney. You know that you're in the Philippines. And then you got all the mall. So you got this mall that has all these Western style apparel stores, dining, a lot of great dining here in Ayala. There's another mall I went to before I made it to that one. That I think it was Yeah, okay, it was Robinson. So this was it, Robinson's Cybergate. So I needed to get a SIM card, or I needed to top up my data, and I didn't really know if there's a way you can do it online, but I also didn't know how to get my phone number, and so I bought another SIM card here at Robinson Cybergate, and I was able to change that. And I remember I got a bubble tea. They were so friendly and giggling and laughing. Didn't know what to make of it. And like bubble tea, I used to have that in California, but they had bubble tea here, and the bubble tea was good. I did I did go to a restaurant here. I'm not going to name it. It gave me a little bit of tummy trouble, but so that was a little bit of a downer. But not nothing over the top bad. Like I wasn't really badly sick or anything like that. But I don't know that I'd go back to. Tony says, watch out for all the Western expat drama and Cebu. Alex, that's a great point, Tony. I really try to avoid the drama as best as I can because to me, I don't come over here to stress, right? Like in America, I'm grinding it out, working hard. I'm dealing with the challenges of life in the United States. Um, I'm having to stress out, right, to earn the money that I need to live over here. But like, I want to leave that behind, right? I noticed a difference in myself when I first got to Thailand. I'm walking really fast and like, I've got to get here, I've got to go here, I've got to go there, I've got to get everything done. And then I noticed after a while, I'm like, the Thai people just don't, they're not in a hurry like that. And I need to just slow it down. I need to calm down. I need to go from like a 10 to like a 4. And I'll be much happier that way. But some Western folks, they don't give that up. They don't leave that behind. They bring it with them. I don't know if it's a habit thing. I don't know if it's an attitude thing. I don't know exactly if I could pinpoint it to one thing, but I try not to engage in that at all. I've had a few trolls try to hop on the channel, and I immediately um, block them so that they're still able to comment, but their comments don't show up. And some people, nah, not on my channel. My goal is to bring analytical mindset to living in the world, and I don't find it valuable to go back and forth, which it's not productive, right? Like I it was to value my time, and because I value my time, and more importantly than my time, the time of everybody watching this, is that we're able to really provide value. Every single time I jump on here, I want to provide value, cover some things I haven't covered before, talk about some new things. And I just, yeah, I look at the drama as kind of ruining a good thing. Like you're in this paradise, and some people disagree with me there. Some people say it's not paradise, but I would say, okay, the weather is gorgeous. It's tropical. It's sunny. It's warm. You have beautiful beaches all over the country. The people are generally friendly and easygoing. They laugh and smile all the time. You have delicious tropical fruits that you would pay an arm and a leg for back in your home country. Not only that, but the fish is amazing too. And you can tell I'm getting a bit hungry. I haven't eaten much today. I ate a bit earlier, but probably after this, I'll go out and grab a bite to eat. But you have all of these different um, wonderful things about Southeast Asia, right? We put a lot of time and money into coming over here. It's like we're flying halfway around the world. And I think it's just important to maintain a positive attitude. And I know that may sound strange or conflicted because some of my video topics can be a little bit stressful or maybe a little bit negative. But um, sometimes I'm just stressed out about something else and it comes out in a recorded video. But then when I get in a stream and I have that direct feedback with everybody, it just puts me in a good mood to talk to all of you. Like I find all of the people that subscribe to my channel are positive minded people and bring this great energy to the stream. And it's I feel very fortunate to have cultivated this great group of folks. And I don't, that's part of the beauty of YouTube for me is it allows me to filter through a lot of people more easily because I find that some people that are not so great in person, they maybe are better at finessing or kind of sidestepping the truth or their issues or whatever. But online, it's like they especially on social media, they can't help but go for the attention. And seeing some of the things that people do for attention was like, oh wow, okay, that person is not somebody that I necessarily want to get along, or I'm not necessarily going to get along with. Whereas you have other people like Michael Johnson, like I saw him on Philippines Antics several times. I'm like, oh, this guy's great. Like he's not here being critical. He's not here judging. He's just here to enjoy, relax, have a good time. And there's so much benefit. And plus, I think that's the beauty of me working toward financial independence. I don't want to be in a position to rely on the online income. To me, it's like, oh, it's a nice bonus, but I don't want to be in a position where I feel like I've got to stir up drama or talk about stressful or difficult topics, to keep attention. Like if I'm not providing enough value, then that to maintain that, then I need to figure things out. I need to improve upon what I'm doing. I need to learn better editing like skills. I need to think of better topics. I need to change something about what I'm doing or my approach to create more value for people. So what else in Cebu? I definitely want to land in Cebu next time, just because there's some stuff I didn't get to check out. I would say Bohol is a big one. I want to take a ferry to Bohol and see that. I know it's a big island, but at least seeing the chocolate hills would be really, really nice. Oh, and then so I wrapped up here, and then I flew to Japan. But let's see. Is there anything else I did in Cebu? I don't think think I checked out Gaisano Country Mall. Oh, there was the SM City. SM City. This is, I guess, one of the newer malls that you have in Cebu, and really modern. It's in the reclamation area. I'm not sure if they like build like how they do the reclamation. This is a nice hotel, by the way, the Radisson Blue. Really nice place. So this is the name. You want to grab a bite to eat? Like they had a lot of cool. They had some really cool live music here. Um, I wish I could pull up. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, they have really cool live music here. They have people like singing and playing guitar, and there's a lot of really talented Filipino singers and musicians in general, which really threw me off coming from Cambodia, which could be a bit more introverted in some ways, I think. And I definitely got the opposite vibe here, and had heard a lot of great music and a lot of people. And this place is open pretty late. I think it was open till like 10 o'clock, maybe 11, relatively speaking, for this kind of outdoor mall, and really enjoyed it. I'll never forget kissing my date in the rain here. The rain was coming down. The rain started to happen, and it started to pick up, and it started to come down, and we're just like sitting at this bench. There's I don't know if it's gonna pop up if I don't know if it's still. There's a barber shop somewhere here. We were sitting by the barber shop, and I was just surprised that like we kissed in public, because I think a lot of people in this part of the world are a little bit more private about it, but neither of us like cared, I guess, because nobody could really see because the rain is coming down so hard and people were trying to get out of the rain, and neither she nor I cared. I don't think I had my laptop on me or any electronics, and so it was just a really special romantic moment in IT Park. Um, yeah, and I hated to leave, right? Because I finally met a Filipina, but it was like a week before I was going to leave the Philippines. I'm like, I need to come back here. I need to stay here longer. I tried to get back in touch with her, but she may have moved on. That's totally fine. Like, I discussed a little bit on the Philippines antics stream, and fully support her. I hope her life is going wonderful. She was a great one, and um, yeah, I hope she's doing well. And so then I flew. I think I had a layover. This might have been the layover flight to Bangkok. I flew from Cebu to, yeah, back to Bangkok, where I'm at right now, and then flew up to Japan and started off in Osaka. I stayed at this. I haven't. Let's see. Pull up maps. Go back to this hotel. This this weird hotel. Really nice, great value for money. Um, I got it for a great price too. Right now, it's like $90 a night. Back then, I paid. This was 4 years ago. I think I paid $50 a night, and the location is fantastic. But I remember walking out of the hotel the first morning. Like, I got there at night, came out the next morning, and I didn't really fully notice these. I don't know what you call them, creatures. And there was some kind of worker or something in a vehicle, and I made eye contact with him, and then looked at these faces, and I am in Japan. This is this is not Kansas. I'm not in Kansas anymore. I'm somewhere entirely different. But great hotel. They were, and so I had some beer and some wine. Or Osaka. And it's just such a cool area to be. It's like a city of 18, maybe 20 area, and you really feel like you're in the middle of it here. There's so not I was not too far from this famous sign. If anybody's um, like seeing photos of Osaka, then you got this beautiful looking Glico sign. This guy is triumphant. Ads in Japan are just wild. I mean, just some of the best advertising, maybe the best advertising in the world. Just so over the top and expressive. I didn't see this. Wow, that guy's talented. He can stand on the bicycle like that. I guess it's got a kickstand, but even so, this hotel, which to me has a little bit of a, I don't know, kind of a bit with the red, and it reminds me maybe of like Lord of the Rings. Mostly just wandered around Osaka, and then went up to. Oh, I got a really nice pair of pants. Probably my favorite pair of pants in Osaka. I went to Uniqlo and they did a fitting on me. They like tapered the waist and to my size, and really really nice pair of pants. I was probably closer to Yodobashi, closer to the river here. Wow. This is Osaka Castle, one of the highlights of the city. Gorgeous. Tradition side by side with the modern. Really, really incredible. Surrounded by this kind of park here. And then from here, I went up to Kyoto. So I took a train, hopped on a train to Kyoto, stayed at one of the, no, I don't know if this was it. This, that I should show if I came here. The one I stayed at was pretty close to Kyoto Station. Maybe that was it. And so I stayed here. Really, really nice. One of the nicest hotels I've ever stayed in. The room was huge. Like huge. One of the biggest hotel rooms I've ever been in. Made it up to, and I may need to do a part two on this because my voice is starting to go a little bit. But came up here. I think I spent about a week in Kyoto. I don't think this was it. I think I stayed at a different Daiwa, but this is a really popular walking street. They've got a lot of events. There's a massage therapist, like focused on sports massage. Great goodies to munch on. Came down here to the Kiyomizu-dera. Beautiful temple, probably the most famous temple in Japan, or among the most famous temples in Japan. And this was like pre-COVID. It was very busy back then. I mean, it was like, whoa, like a lot of people were trying to check this temple out. And so I checked the temple out, but then I did some walking. They've got trails back here, and walked around these trails. I don't know if I made it up here. I think I ended up coming out. It's getting dark, and it's not very well lit. be up there at dark. And I think they warn you too. They have signs up warning about the monkeys. Like some of the monkeys can get a little bit aggressive, I think, or dangerous even. And then anything else I did? There was I think I checked out the Aeon Mall. There was a an onsen I visited that was really nice. No. But yeah, really, really cool city. Kyoto is really special. And then I flew from Kyoto down to Fukuoka. Oh, I flew from Osaka, so I came back down to Osaka. I hit up a restaurant that's no longer there anymore. Unfortunately, I think it must have closed during COVID. And then flew down to Fukuoka, and yeah, this is where my maternal grandparents met post World War II. Stayed in, where did I stay? I stayed at like a service department. I think it may have been in Sumiyoshi Ward, but Canal City, really cool. When I came to Canal City, they had this beautiful, they projected all over this wall. It was just so beautiful to look at. They've got a Gundam here. Michael Johnson, when do you plan to visit the Philippines again? You know, that's a great question, Michael. I'm kind of in this weird spot where I am interviewing for roles back home, and I don't want to leave Thailand because I don't want to leave Thailand, but I am limited on my visa extensions. I can get one more 6-month extension out of my current school. I think that's going to be the end of what I'm allowed to do um, as far as education visas. I've heard of some people using them to stay like 6 years, but education visas aren't really designed for people to live long term in Thailand. And so my visa for Thailand, my final visa extension expires July 15th. So this is about 2 months from now. And if I have the option to extend 6 more months. So if I extend six more months, it's probably going to push back my trip to the Philippines by a long time, because I imagine in that 6 months I'll probably get some kind of offer back home and need to go work. And what's it called? So that would delay it. But what I really what I feel like I should do, or is a more efficient way to approach things, is to leave Thailand on July 15th, go to Vietnam, because I haven't been to Vietnam and everybody keeps telling me, you got to check it out. Some of my friends that have traveled a lot have recommended Vietnam. And why don't you jump off this? I'll pick this trip back up on the next stream. Please remind me, everybody, because after Japan, I went back to Cambodia, and then from Cambodia, I think I went to Malaysia, then to Singapore. Anyway, it was a long story, but we'll pull up Da Nang. So I want to check out Da Nang, but part of me wonders if I'll enjoy it so much that I'll extend for an additional couple of months in Vietnam, and then after Vietnam, that's when I would be looking to come to the Philippines. So this would look like this is a scenario where I don't get a job back in the States. So what I'm looking for until, let's say, December, something like that. So then I'd come from Vietnam to the Philippines in like October-ish. So that's, well, if I stay a month, I would come to the Philippines in this August, about 3 months from now. If I decide to stay months, this would push it back to October. So the ideal, like my sort of ideal circumstance would be coming somewhere from August to October, and probably start in Cebu because I've got kind of a circuit I need to do of interviews with some people. I want to do an interview with John, who he does the California Expat channel, and I've been in touch with him for several years now. I connected with him just because I knew somebody that would want his business services, and that worked out well. And he and I just connected as well because I lived in the Bay Area for a while, and he lived in the Bay Area as well. So I want to do do an interview on his channel, and then there's a few others that I want to do as well. I think Mike's Philippine Retirement is one that I'm going to do an interview with. He's in Dumaguete, and I say all of this just because, if there's one thing that I really love about the Philippines is that prevalence of English and being able to communicate with a lot of people. And so here, sometimes I struggle because I'm not necessarily assuming the Western people in Thailand or Western looking people in Thailand can speak English, because there's a lot of people from Russia here that may not have any English. But when I think of a country like the Philippines, I think, man, probably most of these people have some English because that's one of the biggest draws. And so that'll be doing a circuit there. Um, I wouldn't mind getting up to Angeles as well to chat with George and Heidi in person because I just really like their channel. I think that they make some sacrifices to talk about some of the difficult subjects that they talk about that provide a lot of valuable insight and for people outside of the country, right? Because Michael, your boots on the ground, so you can see and engage with a lot of these circumstances in person, and you have that insider knowledge. But for me, I've only spent a month or so in the Philippines, and so I still have a little bit of a tourist perspective on the country. Where in Thailand, my perspective is shifted from a tourist perspective to more of a long stay perspective, more in line with what you're experiencing in the Philippines. So that would be the goal: is come to the Philippines and do the sort of interview circuit, this almost talk show like kind of thing. It's like the modern version of the talk show. Um, Mike, also Mark. I know Mark is a controversial figure. I'll say it just on here for anybody watching the replay as well. Mark's never done anything to me. I was interviewed by him about 3 years ago when I lived in Peru, and that interview went well. But I wouldn't mind doing an interview with him in person. So this would be John, Mike, Mark, maybe George and Heidi as well. I haven't confirmed that with them, and I haven't made it up to Manila, so I'm not sure, you know, how how scheduling that would work. But that's certainly something I'm open to. I'm trying to think of anybody else. I wouldn't mind doing an interview with Paul, Paul Old Dog New Tricks. So I actually got in touch with him 5 years ago because I think he was just like landing in the Philippines back then. And he was just like trying to kind of check it out and didn't really, I feel like back then he didn't fully know what to make of it. And so it's been interesting to me to see his channel progress into what it is today. Obviously, a huge channel by expat blogger standards, and to build up this audience. And like, I think part of what sold me on his channel is hearing his story, the tragedy in his life. You know, there's this famous video, "Tragedy to Triumph," and being able to relate a lot to it. Now, am I, you know, you know, in the same position? No, I'm still in my working years. I'm not in a position where I can stay in the Philippines long term. But there's a lot for me to learn from all of the expats. Okay, I swapped to hello. Hello. Yeah, I may have to cut it now. Well, let's see. Let's, I may have to wrap the stream up because my AirPods have run out of battery, and I haven't figured out how to handle the settings on here when that happens. Okay, let's see. Um, Can you hear me now? I just want to check and see if you guys can hear me. I'm getting the green lighting up on my end, but I'm not sure if it's coming through for all of you. Um, that's awful. Um, the battery is pretty low on my AirPods. I'll try to just wind this one down, guys, because my AirPods are out of battery, and I don't want to keep folks waiting around. I do need to figure out how to sort that out. What happens when my AirPods die? I can switch my input source, but let's see here. So I probably start in Cebu and then work my way down to Dumaguete, Dramageddon, Dumaguete. Probably spend a week or two in Dumaguete, maybe more, maybe 2 or 3 weeks in Dumaguete. And then from there, maybe I do a day trip or something to Sikihor, and then I'd like to go back to Mindanao, but it's like, do I go up to Manila, maybe meet up with some Manila bloggers, because there's a lot of bloggers in Manila. And then, but I want to go, like I said, I mentioned Malaybalay. I want to check out Malaybalay and Davao. Davao is definitely up there on my list because it's just got a different vibe, I think, from Cebu and from Manila. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, everyone. I hate to cut it short, but I don't want to do these with audio issues where it's not a pleasant listening experience for all of you. So yeah, if you're watching the replay, feel free to comment down below, share your thoughts. And I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your weekend, and we'll see you soon.